All right. I never, okay. Okay, you ready? Oh, we're recording. All right, we're good. Okay, so y'all, I'm so excited tonight. I love it when we have other people on that you guys get to hear from, because I'm sure Gina and Jayme feel this way. I just feel like I talk all the time. And y'all are like, oh God, there's Stormy again. Oh, she's live on the page. There she is again. No. So I'm really also in this season, we're just trying to make it a real priority to reach down and like let other leaders who are coming up just share what they're doing. And so I'm excited. I'll tell you guys why I picked these three, but I only have two announcements that I can think of. The first one is your codes. Everybody should have gotten if you have a conference ticket, everybody got, Haley, I cannot with you. I just looked in the corner. So sorry, derailed me. Haley has the facial on and she was like, at first I thought it was your skin. I was like, I mean, she's like me, she's fair skinned, but like what happened? Okay, I'm back. All right. So if you got a conference ticket, which I think a lot of probably almost everybody but our newbies did, they sent you 10 codes today that are their promo codes for just you, and you can invite 10 people to conference for it's like 70% off, I think. So it makes it in the US. Kyler told us on the VIP call it's $22.25. So for anybody that has those codes, go ahead and then start inviting your newbies and like talk to your new people, because that way they can get on conference for $22. It's going to be awesome. Obviously it's kind of late for them to get to Galveston with us. So make sure you guys are using those for your newbies. The second thing is, and I'm just going to, I just keep seeing this, so I'm just going to address it. It's not that big of a deal. I'm just giving you guys a heads up. Y'all, Facebook is cracking down on slides and posts and host to posts. And, I've just seen it. I'm in a push to ambassador. I'm in a push to prez. I'm in the diamonds and above chat. I'm in the VIP. I've been seeing it over. I saw it in our Telegram, almost a telegraph chat. I'm like, what is a telegraph? What is that even? I don't even know what a telegraph is. And so I keep seeing it, y'all. The more original content, like the only answer that I've seen on the VIP page for it is because there was a thread that people were like, my girl got blocked for this. My girl, well, y'all know my warning. I got blocked for that TFX poll that everybody did with the plaid background that was like, if you could loot, everybody did it. I literally, the day I put it up, saw it on 6 people's profile on our larger team, like under Ashley. And I put it up and got blocked for like 48 hours. And I was like, I'm sorry, this has been circulating for months. Why did I? But my first warning was for a Christmas tree poll. I don't know who reported it or what they thought. Literally, it said, do you like fake or real Christmas trees? And it had a poll, and like, I don't know, bizarre. So that was my warning, and then I got blocked for this. So I know several of y'all have said there's a pick 2, pick 3 slide that got y'all. There were several of y'all that are saying the gummies are getting y'all. So basically, the less weight, like weight loss and stuff like that, words you can use, the better. But the best thing is to just using original content. And that, I know we do not all want to. If you're like me, it takes you like an hour to make a story. Like, hi, I'm so slow. I try to do that when I'm at gymnastics with Palmer, and I'm like, my gosh, it's 5:30 and I made a story, and that's all I've done. So I'm not saying don't use other people's slides and don't use what you have in the Telegram chat. I did it again. But just be mindful of that. The number one thing I would say that's the easiest way is to just get on and talk, right? They can't block you for, well, I guess they could, but it might just be the easiest, quickest way to just get on and make your products and talk about them. I don't know, or being, the main thing I'm seeing is the product slides versus business slides, but I'm not saying it's not happening for business, but that's the main thing I keep seeing. So just an FYI, because I know I've seen some of y'all be like, I don't know what I did. You didn't do anything. Facebook's just cracking down. So, okay. Now I am going to turn it over to our guests hosts. And you guys, I picked these 3 ladies because I've been looking at enrollments basically all fall because of the contest we were doing. And then I was pulling top enrollers for, up until December, I think, or whatever. I would do those slides that said like top 10 enrollers. And these 3 ladies, they were always on the top 10 enrollers. their name is always an E-Suite. I mean, always, like the two, I mean, Jayme, good grief, like the end of the month, last month, every time I opened my thing up, she was like, boom, 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 boom. I was like, have I already hearted this one? Wait, no, that's another one. Oh my gosh. Kristina I talk to her like I would say every day, every hour, and she's constantly enrolling. And I know for a while it was just loyal customers, but my gosh, she enrolled like 5 distributors in a couple of days. And then Madison, when we did the last contest, that thermometer contest, Madison, I think, messaged me like every day and was like, oh, by the way, this one's mine. This one's mine. So they're just killing it, y'all, killing it. And so I asked them to come on and just share some of their tips. I let them totally take the reins. Like they asked you guys what y'all wanted to hear, but I'm just excited, just as excited as you guys are to hear from them. And I'm going to sit back and take notes and let them take over.
Alrighty. Okay. So I was going to try to kind of just get things started. I wanted each of us to do like a little introduction, not much, just to show you guys like who we are, how long we've been with the business, what we do currently, if we're working or not, and kind of where we are as far as like promotion wise. So my name's Jayme. I've been with the company since March 31st. I am a dog mom from Cleveland, Mississippi. I also work full-time here in town. And then so in April, I promoted to Ruby, and in September, I promoted to Emerald. And so I'm pushing for Diamond this month. And so I'm super excited to get this opportunity to share with y'all any tips that I have on what I've done since being with this company since March. So I'm gonna turn it over to Kristina. She'll just do like a little intro.
Hey guys, I am Kristina. Y'all know I've also been in the business since March. This is actually my second time. Stormy asked me to do this. I think she asked me, I'm pretty sure, or maybe I can't remember. She asked me to do this actually 2 years ago. 2 years ago, November. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever, I'll do it. Like I wasn't really enthusiastic at all. I didn't even know what the company was. And I signed up and got all my stuff. I guess back then you got some products or whatever, and I got it. And then like energy or whatever. And then didn't do anything. I didn't have Facebook. So yep, that was it. Just paid it and didn't do anything. I didn't even talk to her. I didn't even text her, like nothing. But obviously I still continue to follow her. And I actually reached out to her again after she retired. She was still VIP. She wasn't even presidential yet. And I was like, okay, I need help. What do I do? So I signed up in the middle of March last year, like Jayme. And I also work full time. I work night shift. So if anyone can do it, even a night shift zombie person can do this on their spare time. I usually get about 4 hours of sleep a day, and you can still do this. And literally been hit the ground running. I think I went Ruby the same month as Stormy went Prez. And then I went Emerald, I think the next month after that. And just been hanging out at Emerald for a while. And I guess now it's like, I'm like right at, like I just texted Covert, I printed out my double chart, like I'm going. So that's me. Madison.
Okay, so my name is Madison. I've been in since the very last day of June, I think, maybe July 1st. I don't remember honestly. But I went Ruby in September, and I took my boyfriend's account Ruby in November. And then so we're going Emerald this month. I'm a full-time college student, so I just pretty much work whenever I can between my school schedule. And so like my goal is to be Diamond in March, so I can like not have to have an actual job like and juggle that through school. That's pretty much it though.
Okay, so what we're going to do is last week I dropped a post and had some people kind of shoot some questions at us as far as, you know, how are we getting all these enrollments? What are we doing? How are we staying organized? So we asked for y'all to kind of give us some feedback. So we're going to go through those kind of like a panel, So I'm going to present the question and then we'll each kind of respond to that. So, but please, I have the chat pulled up. So if you guys think of something as we're talking, we'll look at that and we'll answer those questions too. So the first question is, how do you stay organized? My biggest tip for this is to do what works for you and what makes sense for you. I am probably not the best when it comes to doing like a notebook organization. I do everything in my phone because I always have my phone. When I'm at work, I have my phone. I might not have a notebook with me. So what I'm going to do is like anybody that I talk to, I have a memo that I write their name in. Something that I'm trying to do more of is get dates from people, like a specific date from them. So if they say, I'm not ready, then I say, that's fine. When will you be ready? When can I follow up with you? Let me put you in my calendar. Jade Hooper talked about that. And so I've been trying to use that when it comes to follow-up. So I have all of my stuff on my phone. I have like a memo for LC follow-ups. If I don't have a date, I at least write their name down. And then I do the same thing for DT follow-ups. So I'll have dates for those and their names down. You just have to figure out what works best for you and make sure you write down all the names of everyone that you talk to on a daily basis. Because that's kind of going to go into our next question on how you're going to use that information. Also with staying organized, I use boards for my scripts. So I know a lot of y'all have heard of that now. You can actually input pictures in there, but that has helped my business out tremendously too, because I can have 15,000 conversations at one time and just press a button. And I have an Android and people make fun of me, I know, but I spent probably the first 6 months of the business copying and pasting. So now it's so much easier. I can just hit a button. So that's what I do. I do everything from my phone. So if you're more of a writing down person, then I'm sure one of the other ladies will talk about that. I know I'm going to have my phone with me all the time. So I keep everything in there. All my names are in there. All my dates are in there. So I'll pass it on to Kristina.
So one thing I do, I'm not organized. Like, I know Melissa's very organized and she's a very green, but I am not necessarily that organized, but I still need to at least write down names that I've talked to. I will always have my phone. And if I'm like at work and I don't have my notebook on me or something like that, like I'd have just like a regular spiral notebook and I just put names down who I've talked to, not necessarily the date of when I talked to them, just a name. So I can go back. So like on Follow-Up Friday, I can go back to each name, search in Messenger, and then do a follow-up script. So that's how I do my follow-up. So I always actually write them down. But then if I don't have them written down, I learned something actually from Morgan Martin on a YouTube where if I wasn't able to write a name down, then I would screenshot who I'm talking to. So then I can go back into my pictures and then write down the actual name of who I talked to. So at least I have that name written down, because then I'll just forget and I just keep messaging people and then it'll get lost in a text message. And I'm really bad about like searching in the messenger search, because I know Jayme likes to search like certain words. I'm really bad at that because there's no really common words that I like to search. So I would screenshot that and then write them down like that. That's really all I have to stay organized. And then also I use the HAP trackers to stay organized too, and they're in our team page. So if someone posts a HAP and then like I get 10 or 15 comments on it or whatever, you know, praising I do, I write down all of those names on there to make sure if I didn't write them in my notebook, like I can go back and look at my HAP tracker and see if they're written down. And I know that has helped me too, because and then also for later, I can go back if I'm just like, I don't know what to do and I'm stuck, I can go back to that HAP tracker and say, oh, I can probably ask them to HAP for me again because they haven't done it in like 2 months. So I keep a lot of those papers for a little bit. So then I can go back and re-ask them like, hey, I know you've helped me out again or helped me out in the past. Like, would you mind helping me out again by posting another thing? And this is our new drawing that's going on this month. So that's also helped. But like Jayme said too, it's all about you and how you do it. If, you know, and I work entirely from my phone too. When I'm at home, I'm on my laptop, but it's more so on my phone, and I use Wordboard and not boards. I never got the understanding of Wordboard. I never could organize it better. So I've always been able to use Wordboard a lot better just for scripts. And then I just search everything else from my picture albums for pictures.
Okay, so I use a notebook because I don't always have it with me, but I mean, it's super tiny. I got it off Amazon. It was like $5, but I'm just terrified that like my phone's gonna crash and I'm gonna lose all those names because I know somebody that just happened to. So like, I'm terrified of that. So I will put them in my notes and then just write them down later because I forget to screenshot conversations, or I would screenshot them like 4 different times. So I don't know. It's just, and sometimes I do write different people down multiple times, but it's better to have them 3 times than not at all. And then I search keywords like TFX, cleanse, just different phrases so I can go back and make sure those people were wrote down. And I don't know, I'm not very organized, so like I don't do it every single day. I take like 30 minutes every like 3 or 4 days and then write them down like just through what I've talked to the past couple days. And then I use boards because I don't know, it's just easier for me because I can put pictures in it. And you can now have like the teams so you can share it with anybody else. So it's pretty cool.
Okay, so our next topic is how often do you follow up? So I know all of you have heard of the main ways, which is going to be your 1-day follow-ups. And so most people, that's the first thing they do when they start working on their business. Each day you might start with self-development, then do halves, and then do your 1-day follow-up. So I do the same thing. I'm going to scroll back through Messenger to the first message that I had yesterday and re-spark those conversations. I'm very simple when it comes to the messages that I'm sending. I might just say, hey, sorry, I totally passed out last night. Can we continue our conversation? Or, hey, did you have any questions? If not, can I send you the pricing? Like very like maybe 2 sentences, very short to the point, just to re-spark everything. And then I'm always going to do follow-up Friday. So if I talk to someone Monday and then Tuesday was my 1-day follow-up, I'll talk to them again on Friday. There's some other situations where you're gonna want to follow up. If we have new promos that roll out, that's a good time to re-spark those conversations that you had someone, like when the gummies rolled out. It was good to talk to people that you've talked to about TFX or Skinny Brew, because it was a good combo for them. If it's a pick 2 or pick 3, you want to start those conversations with people that weren't ready to order when it wasn't under promo. And so you can shoot that out at them. Also, if you talk to someone during a promo and they haven't bought, I'm going to follow up with them, say it ends like on Sunday. Well, I'm going to follow up with them that weekend and say, hey, this promo ends tomorrow, or hey, this promo ends today. Kind of giving them a sense of urgency too. And then let's see. Yeah, that's why it's so important to just stay organized with your names that you have, however you want to stay organized, just so you know who have you been talking to, what have y'all been talking about, so that when things do roll out, you don't spend hours trying to organize it and figure out who you want to talk to. You just know who you need to talk to. So it's just right there. Kristina?
Yeah, same. I'll just do one day. If it's even early in the morning and they didn't respond after 5 p.m., I'll even ask, hey, I just wanted to check in to see if you saw my messages. I mean, like something really simple with that. And then sometimes I'll even do a 2-day follow-up, and then always on Fridays. That's usually for distributors. Once I get to like the 3rd Friday or whatever, then I'll spread it out by doing maybe 2 Fridays a month and then 1 month. there's actually some customers that finally have ordered after a few months of me talking to them. So you always definitely want to follow up, even if they're still ignoring you 20 messages, they'll, I have had people respond. When it comes to distributors, I'm not as pushy with them. I'm more of transparent with distributors. I basically just tell them, recently I feel like a few of them have been fairly easy. I know Kelly was really easy. I signed her the very first day. We texted each other and she's like, okay, let's do it. So she was kind of a blessing in disguise, honestly. And same with Amy. She basically did it like the next day after her, but I also knew her from college, so that helped. But the other distributors, I was always really transparent with them. Just let them know, like, this has been a complete blessing. Like, making a small part-time income and, always putting it on me. Like, I don't have to ask my mom anymore. Guys, I used to ask my mom for money as a 30-year-old. Like, that's how it was. And so I'm always transparent with everyone I talk to about that. So with them, I'm more of a follow-up of a voice memo follow-up and transparent, rather than just always following up like, hey, do you want to make money on your phone? Hey, are you ready to make money from your phone? I never do that. I send them maybe like 2 messages a month if they don't do it, or even more than that. But I make it really true to myself rather than just like always putting it on them, because it's a little bit harder. So yeah, I think that's really it for that part.
Okay, so following up is really important. And it's so important to stay organized because that goes hand in hand with following up. Like, I've seen people recently that I talked to and then I forgot to message and I just didn't have them written down. And Elena shared this the other day too. And they've either joined with somebody else and are like doing the business, or they bought products from somebody else. And I'm sure if you've been in the business for more than just a couple months, you've had that happen at least once. And it's kind of just a gut punch. Like, that would have been your customer, but you didn't follow up. Like Jayme said, I start from the very beginning of my messages from the previous day. So like today, I started at the first message that I sent yesterday, and I'll just go through and re-spark that conversation. And then I do follow up Friday. And then I go through my notebook, like usually I do it throughout the first week of every single month, and I just follow up with the people about whatever product they were interested in. Or sometimes I do what Jade Hooper does. She has a really good YouTube video about following up, and she said that after a couple months, if they are not interested in whatever product they originally talked about, she offers them some other product. Like maybe if they were interested in TFX at first, she goes to she like starts talking about hair, skin, and nails. Like, and she'll just switch it up every couple weeks. So I've tried that, and I've signed a couple people with that. And then of course people with like a specific date, and then like special promotions. Like I followed up with every single person the first week of this year because of gummies and everything. But that's pretty much it.
Okay, the next one is, where do most of your enrollments come from? So mine has changed over these last few months. So when I first started, 100%, almost 98% of my enrollments came from HAPS, because I had a very, very small network when I first started, like less than 1,000 people. I had a very small circle. Like the chicken noodle soup list was like 5 people, including my sister. Like, it was just sad. So I had to work the HAP game to expand my network. And so when I first started, when I had my big month in April, is from HAPS. And you'll hear that. I mean, most of your enrollments will come with HAPS, but I have noticed a switch, and it's because my network has expanded now, that a lot of conversations are coming from my stories and my post. And that's because people are just continuing to watch you. And I talk about consistency all the time, about consistency in your day-to-day tasks that you do, and showing people that you're still working this business. Because, a lot of people that put up a hat for you, they might put up a giveaway hat. And so they don't even know what you're selling. They don't even know what company you're with, but now they're your friend. And so next week when you post about the gummies, they're going to be like, what the crap is this? Like, hello, I need some information. And so that has been a switch for me, is just because of the consistency, I've seen more people are commenting more on my product post, where at the beginning I wouldn't get any kind of response and I just worked the mess out of HAPs. So that's why it's so important, like I said, to be consistent, because everybody is watching you. So it has changed for me. A lot of them still do come from HAPs, but it's kind of like half and half now for my stories and my posts and HAPs.
So same with me, HAPs, for sure. I always try to get, like I said, keyword try. I always try to get at least 10 up a day. Recently it's been a little rough. And maybe because I was blocked from Facebook for a few days. And so I had to like switch it up. And now, like Gina said earlier, I'm so scared to put any type of stories that are like at work stuff from other people on my slides. So I've basically just been talking on my stories and making it more like interactive more than anything. But what I do actually is besides HAPs, I don't know if anyone knows this, but you can swipe up on your stories and see who views them on both Facebook and Instagram. So I have a message that I send to people that I swipe up. And if it's on like me talking about a product or me making my coffee or something like that, I'll send them, and I can put it in the chat too. I'll send them something like, hey, I noticed you've been viewing my stories. I don't know if you're just scrolling by and just bored or hanging out, because most of the time people are bored. And if they're already bored and scrolling through stories, they might as well work with you, but they're not going to say that. But I'll say something like, I noticed you've been viewing my stories. Wasn't sure if you're interested in any health and wellness products or how to make some money from your phone. And I've actually got a lot of interaction from those, because you're just reaching out. And some people are like, actually, I have been wanting to know about this or that or this or that. So I've been doing that too. And then I've also been doing, going through my friends list, starting from letter A. I know a lot of people do this, and I used to not do that. But when I first started, I didn't have Facebook. It was inactive. So my network has grown like almost maxed out now. So it's a lot of consistency with that. And I've realized that like, I just want to keep growing and keep growing. So we might as well just start messaging people starting from letter A. So that's what I've been doing, either asking for a HAP or a loyal customer or a distributor. And then if I don't even want them as a friend at all, I just delete them so I can just get fresh faces always on my Facebook. But mainly just from HAPs and just like blatantly just asking people if they want something. And a lot of them are like, yeah, I'd be interested in learning more about some products. And then I'll send them a list of goals, and then we go from there. And then I write them down as a customer. So I can send that as you're viewing my stories or whatever thing in the chat too.
Okay, so most of mine come from HAPs. Maybe it's not necessarily like the post itself always, but I send a message whenever I tell them like, thanks for posting for me, basically. And I've gotten a lot of customers using that. Let me drop that script. Because it talks about how, like, it talks about thanks so much, like winner will be announced, all the days I'll share on my page. Are you interested in? And it lists pretty much everything. And usually somebody needs something for at least stress relief or energy. Everybody needs something for it. So that's really helped. And then I do the alphabet thing. Like I go through every night, I'll just pick a different letter and go through, like I did C today. And I just go through and delete them or follow up if I miss them, or I ask them to HAP for me, or I add them to a potential distributor folder. And then I can know to like interact with them. And then I can just kind of spark that relationship, and then I can message them. So it's not really like a cold message, if that makes sense. But for the most part, HAP is like where it's at.
Somebody needs to make a t-shirt. HAP is where it's at. Okay, how do you create a sense of urgency? The only thing I have there is that, like, if I might say I only have like X amount of discounted spots left, like this is if it's needed. we only have one code left if it's for DTs, only have one more spot left on my team. Like that's how I guess I create a sense of urgency. And it's really usually around either a promo that's going on, or if I've talked to someone for a while, or if I've sent them a cart and they haven't checked out, I might say, hey, I'm saving your spot for you. I only have 3 spots, like, or something, and just try to create that sense of urgency there. And that's really all I do for that. I don't have to do that often unless it's like a big promo that's happening. I'll kind of go around when that promo is going to end. So that's all I got.
Yeah, same. I always end with a question. Let me send you that cart for you. Are you ready? Promos, right? Like what? And I've had people, when is the promo ending? And even if it's ending at the end of January, I'll say, oh, it ends on Sunday. So you need to get this order in by today, basically. Like, I mean, it's not, but I'll even say like, yeah, not that it's like lying per se, but I'll always tell them like, well, we never know when it ends, but it could possibly end on Sunday. We never know until our CEO announces it every single Sunday when he does his live feed. So you can always put something like that at the end. Like, we always know when our CEO announces new stuff every Sunday.
Okay, so I started using this, especially because gummies are so popular. I say I'll try my very best to save you a discounted spot, but we're so close to being sold out and products are flying off the shelf. Is there any specific questions that I can answer that help ease your mind? I only have, and then I'll say like so many spots left. I'll put a number there. I don't want you to pay full price or be put on a waiting list. And then they normally say something like, okay, well, this day works for me, or we just kind of, it keeps the conversation going. But that's, or like promos and stuff.
Can you drop that? Because I'm so stealing that too. Okay, while she's sending that, the next one is tips for sealing the deal. So I've been trying to, I don't know if you guys watch a lot of Jade Hooper videos, but I do. And one of the things that she talks about is never, ever, ever ask, are you still interested? Because then that leaves them open to say, no, I'm not interested anymore, but they were interested. So why are you asking them if they're still interested? You know that they are. So instead, say, are you ready? I had you on my calendar for today. Are you ready? You told me to follow up with you today. Are you ready? Not, I have you down today. Are you still interested in purchasing those products? No, don't do that. So I've tried to start switching that up and getting a better response, because especially if they commit to a date for you and you follow up on that date, they know that you're following up because they gave you that date. You're not just pulling it out of your butt. So they asked you to follow up with them that day. So yeah, don't ask, are they still interested? So that's something that's really changed for me, is putting it, I guess, on them, because they said that they were going to order pretty much, or they said that they were into it and they wanted to get started. It might just not have been the right time. So that's kind of what I'm doing now.
Yeah, I watch that same video. I either watch hers or Morgan Martin, because Morgan Martin seems to sign like 100 customers every month. So she has a lot of tips too. You get really bored at 4 a.m. when you work. So I watch a lot of YouTubes and, I'm sorry if not a lot of people have time. That's just how my life is. Sealing. Okay. For distributors, mainly, I always, and I sent this to Brittany Morton, I always ask for their phone number. So I'm for sure getting their phone number, and it's more personal that way. So they know I'm actually a real person with a cell phone. And then if they have an iPhone, I'll send them voice memos, through that, and I'll get on the phone with them and actually talk to them, just so they can hear my sincerity and how I actually am, and, what I've liked about it and everything like that. So I'll always get their phone numbers with that, or just sending them voice memos in general through Messenger, rather than talking to them in a text if they ask questions. If I can't send a voice memo, then, that's fine. But eventually I will at one point as a follow-up or something like that. And then for customers, yeah, same thing. Are you open to more info? I never heard back from you. Are you, just never, are you interested, because it sounds really boring and you don't want to sound boring to people.
Okay, so I don't really give like a lot of fluff. Like I give them the facts like about the product, whatever. Then they say yes, that sounds like what I would need. Then I give the price, and then they say yes to that, and then I tell them I'm about to place another order. Can I go ahead and throw yours in too? Then they normally are like, okay, yes, sounds good. Or I get paid on this day. Let's start then. So then I have them and then I follow up. Or I've noticed a lot of the time lately, like we'll be talking and then I'll make a post about TFX or a heart hap or whatever, and they see that and that actually seals the deal, if that makes sense. Like I didn't realize that that's how it was going until a couple of weeks ago, and I had so many people from heart hap comment on my personal heart hap, and they never responded originally, and they didn't respond whenever I followed up until they commented on my hap and I, on the post on my page, and then I messaged them and then we started talking and I got several customers because of that. So people are watching you, I promise.
Okay. Do you prefer to send carts or enroll yourself? So my preference is to do it myself, and I think that's just because that's how I started. I didn't know about carts when I first started. I had no idea. I thought the only way to get a customer was to enroll for them. So that's what I always did. And I love doing it that way because then you have access to their account and you can make changes, cancel, do all that jazz. I will say though that majority of my enrollments now are through shopping carts. It is so dang easy. If you've never done one before, follow up with someone in your upline and ask them to send you screenshots on how to do it. It's so easy, and you can still, like, if you need to send a cart from someone else's account or whatever, you can still do that. You can still log in and send a cart, but you just put the items in there that they want and then send them directions on how to check out, make sure they check that they want to do auto ship and all that jazz. So I would say when I first started, I was doing it for them, and I might do that a handful of times now, but I just feel like, I think that they might like it more when they get a cart because they feel like they're checking out like they would if they were buying something off Amazon. So it seems like more official, but there's pros and cons to both. I mean, you're going to get people that don't want to send you their personal information, and then you're also going to get people that sit on a cart for 2 weeks and then they can't use the cart. So, I mean, there's pros and cons to both, but I would say I probably use the cart more now than I used to.
And I'm opposite. I used to always send a cart. I wasn't really comfortable getting on the phone with them or whatsoever, but recently, probably a few months, maybe October, November, I always asked, would you like to get on the phone and let's get this order going? Just because they know that I'm not just some robot on Messenger and messaging them and sending them this random cart. And plus, it's a lot easier to upsell when you're on the phone with them because stuff will pop up, even though we all know that it's just the random pop-ups that come up or whatever, but you can still say, oh, this popped up. Would you like to add it to your cart for only $39 more? Like the greens and the extra bag of coffee or something like that. Like I always am able to upsell anything when I'm on the phone with them rather than sending a cart, because those people they can delete stuff from the cart and they won't have to get any extra products from carts. I mean, sometimes that they will if they continue shopping, but most of the time they're not going to. And then to seal a deal with sending a cart, if I do send a cart to someone, I always tell them within 12 hours, hey, I sent you that cart. I know it expires after a certain time. Do you want me to resend it? I mean, I will follow up with them very quickly after I send that cart because I want them to know that I want to get this sale too. And I mean, within 12 hours, if not the next day. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. Like, I'm sending that cart, they better order from me. So, and if they still don't answer me after that, then I'll even put it back on myself. I'm sorry if I offended you, but we can even get on the phone if it's much better for you, rather than getting me sending you an actual cart with this. So I will find any way at all to make them a customer and keep following up with them. I have had people send me their credit card information through Messenger, and even in a text message when all of our systems was down. Like, they did that to me too. But I think sometimes they feel a little bit more comfortable with when they're texting you rather than just sending it like in Messenger and stuff like that. But recently now I've always asked, like, let's get on the phone and order, because it's going to be a lot easier. And then I can explain the whole process and how everything works and how you take everything and all that stuff.
Okay, so I used to send carts as well, but I was just tired of like having all these carts just in the air and nothing ever coming through. And plus, if you're going for fast starts and you have like one that you're doing and you send that same cart out to 3 people and they all 3 end up ordering, then that's extra. You know what I mean? Like, you can't work on another fast start because you just put 3 there under one person, if that makes sense. I just always send this message. It just says, I just sat down to put in another order. Can I go ahead and add yours in? I'll just need some info. And then they say, yes, sounds good. And then I send that message, and then I have a little graphic that what they need. And then I normally send I send 3 different upsells. Like, I'll do one in a certain situation, another in a different situation, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But I will send a cart if they don't want to send information, but most of the time people are whatever, they don't really care. But for distributors, I don't enroll them. I want them to do that since it's like their social and everything. I just personally don't do that.
Okay. The next one is, what do you send to an LC or a DT immediately after enrolling? So I'm not, for LCs, I'm like, there's nothing special here. I know Elena has a really cool graphic that she started working on where you can put in what their LC number is and when their next run will be and when their last run will be, so that they are accountable to the 90-day program. But I just ask them, I say, hey, I got your notification. Let me know when your order arrives. And so when their order arrives, then I'm going to send information about how to use the products. So it's very simple. I just want them to let me know when they get their stuff in, and when they get their stuff in, then I tell them about how to use the products, and we leave it at that. And then every month I'm going to check in with them to see how things are going. For DTs, I have, and I will send this, I have like a little blurb to get them started. Well, that's the wrong one. I'll look for it and I'll send it. It's just like, hey, make sure you sign your tax documents. And one thing that we can work on before we get your one-on-one going is who would you send a message to if you had really good news? And this is getting them the chicken noodle soup get going so that they can start making their list. And so I'll just send that to DTs, and then Madison actually created a pretty awesome like new DT training unit in our team page. So now I direct them to that. So I tell them, like, start here, watch these videos, let me know when you're done, and then we can go on to the next task. So it kind of keeps them accountable for things that they need to get done within that first week of enrolling. And then we just stay on top of that. So I'll find that initial message and I'll drop it in the chat.
For loyal customers, if I'm on the phone with them, I'll let them know what their password is, that an email was sent to you just now with your customer ID number, but I'll read it out to them because it's already on my screen. With their password, I'll let them know, because I usually just do a generic, like it works 21. Now that it's 2021, I'll do that. Nothing crazy. And then I'll always remind them, even though I did talk to them about this when talking about the products, to always remind them about, light exercise, lower carb, lower sugar diet, be consistent, because I feel like people need to hear that more often, because I don't think a lot of these people are very consistent with things, as we are, because we like them so much. So I continue to say that a lot. And then I'll also let them know, let me know when your products are in, or I'll just go ahead and message them 2 weeks later. Hey, did you get your stuff in? I know some things could be, behind a little bit. And just remind them how to take everything and all that stuff, and that your order is going to be processed on the same date, and, all the normal information. For distributors, I will ask them what their schedule like, so we can plan a one-on-one, but then I'll first make sure they download like all the apps that they need to, Zoom, Connect app, sample app, go to log out in their eSuite to fill all that part out, and then start just basically day one. I'm going through, since I'm not really, obviously I'm on Stormy's side and not Jayme and Jen's, but I'm kind of on the verge of like creating my own little training thing, since my team is growing kind of rapidly, very quickly. So I'm kind of starting to kind of create it and like thinking of things in my head. Brittany Morton, by the way, I was going to talk to you about that. But yeah, so I basically right now I'm just sending them like the basic information and getting on a one-on-one and doing my one-on-one, like how everyone does their one-on-one, and getting to know their schedule, because my schedule is completely opposite of everyone. So I just want to make sure that their schedule is like we can figure out schedule wise, since I'm completely opposite. So.
Okay, so for customers, immediately after them enrolling, I send, oh my goodness, I just got your order in. Your username is your email and your password is, I use It Works One. And then if you ever need to change anything, you'll visit my website and I send that and log in to change it. I can always help you if you need anything whatsoever. Thank you so much for supporting my small business. Please let me know when your products arrive. And then I just send like the last little bit if they did it themselves. And then for distributors, I have like a little blurb that I send. I kind of just change it every time, just based on the person. And then I direct them to the team page for the training. But like I keep it pretty simple. Like I always like for distributors to tell me like more about themselves, kind of like the scheduling, so you can kind of they feel more comfortable.
Okay, and I'm going to kind of combine the last two. I hope I'm answering this one right. It says, what route do you get the most return on for your potential DTs? I said HAPS. I guess I'm understanding that question right, but I'm going to get the most response for potentials from my HAPS that are PDT HAPS. And so to that, what's the best way to confidently enroll DTs after a long drought? Just continue doing the things. Like it's not anything special that you're going to say, oh, I hadn't enrolled a distributor in 7 months. What am I supposed to do? You just do the things. You keep on doing them. You do them every day. You get back into being consistent in your HAPs and your posting. And I mean, there's no magical thing about it. You just make the decision to do it. And then your business will change. So there's nothing really special that you can do. It's just continue to do what you know you should do every day. So HAPS is where I get my most PDT leads. I may get like a handful of people that comment on my post about the business, but most of them are going to come from HAPS. And then just do the things.
Same. I put on every single HAP, I put in the application, influence application. That's where I've actually gotten a few people. They filled it out and I'll immediately text them, because I have in my application like what their phone number is and specific questions. I actually copied the questions from Cheyenne Knox because I really liked her questions in her application rather than just some of the ones that I made. So I did that. And then I've also messaged people that like some of my posts. So there was a girl that did a HAP for me. I actually asked her, she's still on my PDT list, and I'm still following up with her. I'm determined to sign her soon. And then there's a few people that just like random girls that have liked my pages, just about distributor posts or whatever, and I'll message them like, hey, thanks for the love on my page. I really appreciate it. And then I'll kind of go into the conversation because they, they'll say, oh, you're welcome. Like, I just really like, of all the positive things you're saying and stuff like that. And then I'll kind of go into the conversation about it. Like, well, have you ever considered doing this? Like, I don't know. So I'll message them as well if anyone messages me. And then for like a long drought, I mean, honestly, Stormy was the one that helped me with Ruby. I didn't even sign a distributor when I went Ruby. So that was that. And then I signed a few and they all quit, except for Danielle and Fran. And then all of them still quit. So I just kind of kept going and kept pushing and just be consistent. I just said, I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to keep going, and I'm just going to stay consistent and still keep doing all the things that I'm doing. And eventually it's going to come. Recently, I watched a YouTube saying, I can't even remember who it was, but this is very recent, that if you keep telling yourself that things aren't looking up and things aren't happening, things aren't going to happen. But if you write down yourself that you are a mass enroller, that you can do this, that you can sign distributors. I've been doing that and writing it in my journal every single day. And ever since then, I've been signing. That was after the day I got 3 DTs in one day. And then I don't know how many LCs in one day. Like, it's literally all about mindset, y'all. I mean, I just kept writing it every single day, and then boom, all of a sudden it just happened, like all of a sudden. So yeah. And I almost got distracted for the puppy on Danny's picture. But yeah, all about mindset. And then also I was going to say one other thing about loyal customers. If you aren't a product of their product and you do not have a before and after picture, I highly recommend submitting a before and after picture in the Connect app. I mean, start today, whatever you're using. If you're using the collagen, take a picture of your face, and then a month later, take another picture of your face. I'm sure it's going to look different. I know when I first started in March, I took 2. So I took a 1 month before and after with just the coffee, because I was unable to afford an auto shipment. So I didn't have anything. So I waited for my $150 shopping spree. And then I ordered a bunch of stuff. And then eventually I was able to afford an auto shipment. And then I started ordering more stuff. So then I had my 1 month at March before and after picture. And then in 5 months later, so I think in July, and I submitted it. And y'all, it's like, I'm amazed. And by no means like, I mean, 20 pounds is 20 pounds, right? For anyone. So and it just makes me feel healthier too. And that besides everyone else's before and after pictures, I always send my own, because people are like, oh, wow, like you didn't even need to lose that much weight. But like, I can really tell that like that actually worked. And so I highly for sure recommend to be a product of the product. And if you're not using the products consistently, then you're most likely just not going to be excited about anything and excited to sign customers. I'm going to say that right now.
Okay, so I use my influencer application. If you don't have one, you should like go make one tonight as soon as we get off here. It has helped with distributors so much. You can look up on YouTube influencer application, and there's a couple different trainings, and I drop that in with every single post that I make, and I put it in the comments of every PDT app that I do. And that's how I've gotten so many of my distributors, because it just seems more legit. Like, they have to fill out an application if you want to go work at McDonald's. So why wouldn't you have to fill out an application to do this? Like, it just seems more like a real job, if that makes sense. I copied coverts, and then whenever I text them, if they have an iPhone, if we both have iPhones, you can hold down and do like the effects, and I send the little confetti effect, so it like drops confetti whenever I text them. Like, it's just kind of cute and like a personal touch, and it makes it seem like I'm more of a real person than a robot. And then I message 10 people every single day, usually people who view my stories. I have 2 different things. It's super simple, but I get a lot of feedback from that, and just sparks a lot of conversations. And even if they say no to actually doing the business, they might become a customer, or it turns into a app at least. And then a drought how do you get out of a drought? Basically, so just be you, share your story. People want to see you. They want to believe in you before they believe in anything else. Self-development really helps with this. If you're not like filling your cup, you can't fill anybody else's cup. So that just has really helped reinforce your confidence. Like I watch Jade Hooper a lot, like we said earlier. And so she just talks about a lot of that too, and just being confident. And that kind of goes back to being a product of the product as well. Like if you're not using stuff, people don't think that you're passionate about the business. If you're not passionate about the business, you can't have anybody else be passionate about it.
Okay, that's all the questions. If y'all have anything else, y'all can drop it now. Just overall, I just kind of wanted to say, just stay positive. Don't let the negative people out there bring you down. Step up your block game if you have to. I was telling people today that I've gotten better at that, because I'm not gonna I think Ashley Mayfield said something. She was talking about somebody she saw at an event, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, you blocked me." And she said, "Well, one, if you criticize what I'm doing for a living and talk about my business, I'm gonna block you. Or two, if you talked about me or my family, I'm gonna block you." So don't let someone make you feel like you're not worthy to do this, that you're not worthy to do this kind of business, and that we're not a legit business, and that you can't do this for a living. So don't let people bring you down. And stay consistent. Just even on the hard days, try to at least get up your haps. And I know we were talking about earlier in a chat that if we say get up 7 haps, try to get up 7 haps. Don't ask for 7, get up 7. So if you don't get up 7, then you just keep asking. You might ask 200 people until you get your 7, but you know that you got your 7. So that's the ultimate goal, is to, understand your KPI that we send out and know how you can get your numbers. If you have any questions, let us know. But just keep rocking and rolling. Let us know if you have any questions or need some help. Kristina, Madison, I don't know if y'all have any ending remarks or y'all good?
I was just gonna hit on upselling real quick. Okay, so here are my upsell messages. I could talk forever about this, but here's just simple ones. If their order is $75 to $99, I send this message. And it's just fat fighters. And I always say I just keep it super simple. Okay, so that's what I use for if it's 75 to 99, because that's going to get them the free shipping. And then if they're getting gummies, or if they're getting Skinny Brew or TFX, I send this message and just change it up based on what they're getting. And it talks about getting that triple threat. You just have to change it up. And then if they're getting anything else, just one product, I send this message that I got from Jade Hooper. Okay, you'd have to separate it because it looks weird whenever I send it, and just put hit the enter thing so it is in a list. But I use those, and I almost always get at least another product. So it's normally 2 products or possibly more. But the Fat Fighters upsell to get free shipping works. I've only ever had it not work 3 times.
I love that. I'm going to save the chat after this, and I'm going to drop these in I'm going to I don't know what I'm going to do yet, how I'm going to do it. I'm not sure. I might just create a file, honestly, because that will be the easiest way for me to label, or name what kind of message it is. And I may even be popping back to our chat girls and being like, hey, what was, I mean, obviously I can tell some of them, but I'm going to upload this into the chat. The file's probably going to be the easiest way. You guys did so amazing. Were they not, y'all? Were they so good? Gina, as soon as Gina gets me the recording, it'll be, I was going to do the message in the comments, but since I'm saving the chat, I thought about that, but I'm like, I think it might be a little easier for me to do it another way since I'm on my laptop. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. I know I was taking notes the whole time. I was writing things down. Guys, reach out too. I know that if you guys had a specific question, they would answer it, but there is a reason these girls are in the top enrollers every single month. So thank y'all again. I don't think I have anything else, but all right, y'all have